Hey everybody, Tony from Fresh Pulls here. Join me and the Fresh Fam on Friday, June 17th at the Shriners Auditorium in Wilmington, Mass. for Combat FC1, a full fight card with some of the best talent in the MMA industry. Click the link tree in our bio to purchase tickets right now. Combat FC, powered by Fresh Pulls.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Burt at Fresh Pulls here with Certified T. We are interviewing Sage Phillipe in his upcoming fight for Combat FC1 this June 17th at the Shriners Auditorium. Welcome to the show, Sage. Thank you very much for joining us.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, guys, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Teddy, get going, baby. You've been excited for this one. I'm excited to see how this goes. Teddy's been excited to interview you.
I have. Something I didn't have written down here that I just need to ask about because I received a couple of text messages and people who just had a specific question. I don't know if there's any legs to it or not, so I just wanted to throw it out there. There is a female at your previous fights who is very loud and into everything that's happening. She knows what's going on, so they believe that she's, not just a random person. Who is this person? She's a fan favorite.
I'm glad you asked. That's a good question because on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, she's been getting a lot of responses. But her name's actually Kirsten, and she's actually one of my coworkers, and she's a big one of my big supporters. So, but yeah, she's real intense, just like myself.
Absolutely, yeah. She's becoming quite the fan favorite. People are like, yeah, like she is as good as him in terms of a personality and just somebody who you can tell just loves what's going on.
That's it. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly. So just to jump right in, at first glance, if somebody were to look at your pro record, not looking at the amateur stuff or anything like that, they would see a 1-2 record, which obviously isn't exactly what you were hoping for, right? But if you dive a little deeper, you see not only that you are fighting real guys right out the gate as a pro, but the combined record for those opponents for those two losses is 5-0. So those guys are undefeated. What went into the decision to jump into the pro ranks and not take sort of those lower level fights, those warm up fights, to just jump into real killers right out the gate?
Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't want to wait around. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the guys I'm fighting, they've been doing this a lot longer than I have. I've been at this for about going on 5 years now. A lot of these guys are 10-year vets, and they say they're amateurs, but they've been in the game for they have some skin in the game. I don't want to wait around. I want to test myself. I want to become the best version of myself I could possibly be. I want to be the best fighter I could possibly be. So I don't want to wait around. I don't want to play the business, the drama. I'm not into any of that. I'm into going in there and taking people's heads. That's what I'm in there. That's what I'm excited to do. Now with these last fights, these guys are high level guys. So it's been taking exceptional effort to decapitate them. Let me tell you. So, but I put the time in the gym, and I'm getting accustomed to this level. And that's what separates me from any other fighter in this whole entire region. Okay, these guys, they get to pump their brakes and say that they got this ranking and that ranking, but they don't fight anybody. They're not real fighters. They don't have any real skill. So people see what I bring into the cage. Win, lose, or draw. I bring excitement. Okay, I'm in there to kill. I'm not in there to survive. Okay, I'm not in there to obviously you got to be strategic in there, but at this level, the level that I'm competing at, is one mistake, it costs you to fight. This is how it is. If you didn't prep properly, it costs you to fight. So these things happen in there. So I'm in there to put on a show. I'm in there to be the best fighter I could possibly be. So that's really what my focus is. I'm not too concerned in the politics.
I love that because, as for me, I'm not as big of a fight fan as Teddy. I like watching fight, and I don't know and understand all the fighting like Teddy does. And, that's the one thing that I read about you is, you ain't scared of nobody. That's what I'm excited to see from you this Friday night as, just a fighting guy, watching the fights. I'm excited to see what you bring because everything I read, everything I saw, everything his write-up was about, I was like, man, this guy just wants to fight whoever wants to fight him. He doesn't care who they are, what their record is. Just get me in the ring and I'll show you what Sage can do.
That's it. That's what it's all about. Especially right now, early in my career, I got to get my fights in. I had this same dilemma I had in amateurs. I had an amateur, so I went and I fought guys from Canada, from Iraq. I fought guys out of this country, so I'm accustomed to this already. Obviously, when you're taking these kind of risks, you fail at times, But that's all part of the process. I'm not afraid of the process. A lot of these guys are afraid of the loss, afraid of the process. But this is what it is. It's not a beautiful thing. This isn't WWE. It's not scripted. What you're about to see in that cage is not scripted. You're about to see carnage in there. You're about to see art at its purest form. So it's a beautiful thing that we get to do in there.
Yeah, and like you said, you've only been training for about 5 years. That was the crazy thing as I'm doing my research and just talking to people, and they're saying things like, he's only been training for 5 or 6 years, and we got guys turning down fights against him. And I'm like, I've never heard of that. Like, they want to come in and fight the guy who doesn't have, 10 years, 12 years of experience. So that obviously says something about, who you are and what you've already put on tape for people. So that kind of brings me into my next question. So historically, the way that your last fight went and the way that your last fight ended, if I was in your camp, not yours specifically, but if I was in that situation, I would say Sanat Armoudi is exactly what we want to keep Sage away from because he's so similar to, right. He does really well what your last opponent did really well.
Right.
But that's the fight. Like, you're taking a fight against what would be perceived as the person who gave you the most trouble. What goes into that decision? And it's the next fight. So right. What goes into that decision? Like that to me, just knowing how things have worked historically would be a crazy thing to do. And obviously you have all the confidence in the world and your team has all the confidence in the world. And I'm sure that's why, but yeah, I was just curious, like what went into that decision?
Yeah. So, the last fight, I mean, if you look at my amateur record and my amateur fights, I started off as a wrestler and a grappler at first.
Yeah.
I was a tree hugger just like these guys are. I was sniffing crotches. I was doing all that stuff, but I had to learn that you got to evolve as a fighter. You got to evolve at all levels. So, that last fight was just a bad judgment call on my end, on our preparation end. I came in there for more or less of a stand-up kind of exchange with the guy. And I made some miscalculations. That was it. I mean, if you look at the fight, if anybody saw the fight, watched the fight, I was stopping takedowns. I was doing what I needed to do. It was just a minor miscalculation, So, but anyways, we fixed that. And now, again, this is all part of the growth and just you developing as a fighter. That you can't leave any stones uncovered. You got to address every aspect of MMA. You're not just a striker. You're not just a wrestler. You're not just a jiu-jitsu fighter. You got to address everything. And I'm just excited to show that to Mr. Armoudi. I'm excited to show the fans that I'm a complete MMA fighter. I'm a complete mixed martial artist. I'm not just a striker. I'm not just a boxer. I'm not just a wrestler. I don't just do Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And these are the growing pains that that I mentioned previously that a lot of guys don't want to experience until they're at the highest level. The only problem is when you're at the highest level and you're making these kind of mistakes, you get executed. You're getting taken out. It's not a game at that point in time, and it's a long way down once you fall off that cliff. So, bottom line is this. I'm gonna be ready when it comes time. For the next level. I'm taking my time. Obviously, you see the type of level of competition I'm getting. I get excited about it because every fight that I've had, it's brought me to like basically my peak. So every time I go back to training, I got to basically do more. I got to give more because it's going to take more to take them out. Mm-hmm. These guys that I'm fighting, these guys they're not just one shot guys. Like the last guy I fought, I broke his orbital. Yeah, broke his orbital. He's still in there. He's still in there grappling. He's still in there fighting. And same thing for the first guy I fought. The first guy I lost to. These guys at that level, it takes a tremendous amount to get them out of there. They're not when you hurt them, they're not going to fold. So that's what we've been focusing on in the gym really, and that's what I've been focusing on my training. I've been really zoning in and trying to basically break these guys. Obviously domination was something that I got accustomed to in my amateurs. I got accustomed to dominating guys, but at this level, when you're good and he's good, okay, you're talented, he's talented, you're athletic, he's athletic. Now it becomes more about the guts. It becomes more about who wants it.
Who wants it?
So so that's what I kind of learned fighting these guys. I've learned that you gotta desire it more, because at the end of the day, he's got flesh, I got flesh, he's good, I'm good. It's all about who wants it more.
Yeah, and really kind of that whole sequence just proved, I think, just why you're like a fighter's fighter, right? Is everything down to the small stuff, like referring to him as, Mr. Armudi. And there's just a certain respect for anybody who goes out there and puts their life on the line. But at the same time, you're not going to shy away from who you are. And you take this seriously. You're working to perfect your craft. You're not trying to take any shortcuts. And that's huge to me. And the other thing I think that makes you kind of a fighter's fighter is you're ridiculously active. I think your first 3 fights were within about 3 months, right? So when we talk about preparation, obviously there wasn't a whole lot of time for preparing for that third fight and making sure that you get some of that figured out. It's a 2-part question. Was being that active part of the plan, or how things just came together? And then second, now there's going to be 7 months between that last fight and this fight. Is there a bigger focus on sort of the preparation and what you think you might have missed out on in that third fight?
Yeah. So this is a fantastic question. I see why they got you, throwing these questions out. So again, I had to learn the business aspect of this game. Now, I'm a fighter's fighter, like you just mentioned. In my amateur career, I did those 4 or 5 fights in a year. You know what I mean? So, and pro, that's the same ideology. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to fight. I don't really care. I'm just focused on getting better. I'm trying to. I believe I'm going to be a world-class fighter. I truly believe that. But there's a business aspect of it. So after my last loss, I was immediately going to go fight for reality fighting in Mohegan Sun. I contacted the guy, says I put my name on the hat. He's like, oh, okay, fantastic. We got this guy called Billy Goff for you. I'm like, oh, I know Billy Goff, right? And I was like, he's the only guy I have for you. I said, okay, I got the receipts, guys, to show you this. I got the receipts to show you this. I got the emails. So I says, let me go talk to my coaches. I go run it by my coaches. Boom. We look at Billy Goff. I says, listen, that's going to be a banging fight, you and Billy. People are going to love that. So I'm like, oh, let's do it. I respond to the guy, respond to the promoter. I says, listen, let's go. He says, oh, I talked to Billy Goff and I talked to Billy Goff's team. They don't want to fight.
They can't risk that. They can't risk that.
They don't want to fight. And that's when I realized, this is all politics. This is all drama. These guys in this regional scene in this area, even I thought in amateurs is one thing, but the pro level, come on, but it's the same thing. A coward's going to be a coward no matter what. So, and I'm not going to get Billy Goss. He's making business moves at that time.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's not going to take a risk. He's not going to take a risk getting in there with me. It's not a favorable matchup. But once I learned that, that's why you saw the pause. Okay, as far as this window from my last fight to now, it's not because I chose to. Obviously I've been working in the gym and working on these flaws, but I want to be active. But these guys don't want to fight me. I contact Cage Titans, Trevor Goody, Marty Naves, all these guys. Every single one of these guys were raising their hands, right, when I was making my debut to fight. As soon as they saw the tape, nobody's responding now. None of them are responsive. I got emails to show that and text messages to show that too with the promoter. They don't want to fight me now. They just want to pretend like I'm not there. They just want to avoid me. So when I got the opportunity for Armudi, I was salivating at it. I was like, because I already heard about this guy. I already saw the tape. Saw the tape on him against Billy Goff. I see a tremendous amount of holes in his game. So when they presented the opportunity, I was like, this is perfect. This is excellent. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for competition. I'm looking to fight. Obviously, like you mentioned about the styles, is it the best style for me matchup wise? No, not really. But these things I gotta fix. You gotta fix these things. You gotta fix them. If you don't fix them now, they're not gonna get fixed later. So we addressed it in camp, and like I just mentioned to you before, I focused on being a full MMA fighter, a complete fighter now. I'm dangerous in all aspects. You understand? So he doesn't just have to worry about my hands and my feet. Okay, there's a lot of different different tools and things I'm gonna take advantage of in there. So, but yeah, that's to answer your question. As far as the matchup, yeah, it's not the most favorable matchup, but I don't have much of a choice. Like that's just the reality of it. These guys that are in the region, ranked in the region, these guys don't want to fight me. They want nothing to do with me because they know that I'm just a god awful matchup for them. So I got holes in my game just like everybody else does, and I've addressed them, and I can't wait to show that come Friday night.
Well, that's actually a perfect segue because I was gonna say that you have to know that what the game plan is going to be is let's try to put him against the cage. Let's try to back him up. Let's try to grapple. Let's try to get him to the ground. Are you almost welcoming that to get an opportunity to show very quickly from the last fight to this fight, like, hey, I want you to see this part of my game. I want to show what I have here. Obviously, I know you would probably prefer in terms of for what the fans are going to see and stuff like that, just a stand-up fight. But are you welcoming the fact that that's likely going to be a big part of the game plan?
Yeah, I'm welcoming all aspects of mixed martial arts in there. That's the beauty of again what we do in there. Anything can happen. Armudi, I'm gonna make him pay if he breaks the space. If he breaks the space, and obviously and tries to engage, he's gonna pay for it. Any position that we exchange in, he's gonna pay for it, and he's gonna feel it immediately. Okay, on the feet, on the ground, against the cage. He's going to experience, I'm guaranteed he's going to experience something he's never experienced before.
I love it. I think some of it is going to be contested on the feet, which I do want to kind of see because Armudi can strike. He's not one-dimensional, and sometimes he does want to really show what he has on the feet. And so I'm actually looking forward to seeing both of those dynamics, what happens on the feet and what happens when it's sort of that time to grapple. Obviously, if the fight goes on that long, we'll see. So on to my next question. It's a weird one because I know sometimes people don't necessarily want to talk about their weight or what their current weight is, things like that. But I received a little information that your walk-around weight, like outside of a training camp, like the heaviest that you get is 197. Is that accurate? Because I need a little confirmation for that because that is a little crazy in terms of somebody who's fighting in your weight class would normally walk around outside of training camps heavier than that. Obviously, you're a big guy, but 197 for that weight class is pretty interesting. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, just put it into perspective. I had my first 3 pro fights were in 3 months. So I've fought more in my weight class than Armudi has fought in his entire career. Jeez. So for me to walk around 197 pounds, that's just not reality. That's not reality. I literally when I'm competing and training, I'm literally at around 185, 186 pounds. Wow. I cut 10 pounds, 15. I mean, I'm not even at that weight right now, but that's my peak weight. But like I just mentioned, for me to be in excessive 200 pounds, that's just not reality. I mean, you can't cut that kind of weight consistently and perform the way I performed if I was really walking around there. Now I'm 5'10". Obviously, guys, I'm running, I'm wrestling, I'm doing jiu-jitsu, I'm boxing, I'm kickboxing, so I do a lot. On top of that, I'm lifting, so I'm pretty a compact guy. So a lot of guys, when they look at me, they think I'm freaking 210, 250. I'm not. I haven't seen those numbers in ages since I played football. So I'm not anywhere close to those kind of numbers. I like to keep my weight low. That being because I like to be ready for a fight. I don't. These guys, these promoters, these guys contact me. I don't have to contact any of them. They call me. And they present me the fights, and if I'm ready, I take them. If I'm not, then I don't. But yeah, no, I walk around like 185, 186 pounds. That's like my peak weight. And then I cut down to 70.
That is absolutely crazy. So, and to be honest, like I'm not a fan of the extreme weight cut. I hate it. I think it's a lot of what's wrong with the sport, but I do have to ask because it is part of the sport. What, if that's your walking around weight, what made you decide to not kill yourself to make 155? Because obviously at 155, you would have a massive size advantage over those guys.
Exactly.
And it would probably be possible, but you seem to have put your stake in the ground, at welterweight and say, this is my weight class. This is where I'm going to dominate. What went into that decision to not put your body through that like a lot of the other guys that walk around at your weight would do?
Yeah, because again, you guys are asking fantastic questions. These are like fighter questions you guys are asking. But
Thank you.
these are great questions because I came to the conclusion to this when I was even in amateurs. It's all about your skill level. It's all about your skill level. A lot of these fighters, they focus so much on size. I got to have that size advantage, but they don't have any fucking skill. So you can be as big and strong as you want, but you get in there with a skilled guy. The guy could be 5'4", 120 pounds. If he's skilled, he's finishing you. It doesn't matter. So for me, I like to try to compete at a really comfortable weight that I can fight and be healthy and not kill myself and be the best version of myself. And that's at 170 pounds without question. I'm not cutting down at 155. I don't care how much they're going to pay me. I don't care if the UFC calls, Sage, I want you to fight 155 pounds. I don't want to do that to myself. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it for your health. We're already going in there and we're already going to war. On top of that, I got to destroy my organs and destroy my body. No, I'm not doing that. I'd rather be at my peak self. I go in there and I just go to war. Guys like Moody and the last guy fought, and even the first guy fought, these guys are 6'2", 6'3" welterweights. These guys are cutting probably 30 plus pounds trying to get in there.
Yeah.
Now at first, it's like, oh, I'm fighting this big guy, but he's a human being just like everybody else. When you get in there, it's all about your skill level. It's all about what you bring into the table as far as your skill. And Armoudi's gonna learn that. That's why he's not super active. I mean, the guy has like 4 fights in like 10 years.
Yeah.
And, at welterweight. You know what I mean? And it's not because he can't find fights and It's because he wants to cut and thinks that cutting is gonna give him the most advantage. And yeah, it gives you an advantage against somebody that's not skilled. But when you're going against guys like me who are gonna fucking get it right into your face in seconds, all that size advantage, that shit goes out the window. Okay, that's just what the essence of martial arts. Yeah, I mean, I know there's fighters that when they're fighting, they get into camps. I got to fight. Oh shit, I got to start training now. Listen, this is what I do. I do this shit every day. I'm running every day. I'm shadow boxing. I'm wrestling. I do this stuff every single day. It's a lifestyle for me. I'm not one of these fighters that that get a phone call. Shit, I gotta run and get ready. I gotta call this coach and call this guy and get the team together. No, I've already been training for 6 months. When I got this call already.
That's why you could take 3 fights in how many months? 3?
Yeah, 3 fights in 3 months.
Yeah. That's because I'm in shape and I'm ready to go. It's not something that I get in and out of. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I can't tell you how much I appreciate just everything that you said there, because as somebody who is against those big weight cuts, the part that you said about organs, that's probably the biggest part to me. Is you're not just draining yourself, you're doing serious damage, potentially long term, and
right.
For a perceived advantage in the ring. And I'm obviously just staunchly against that. So I really do appreciate that, being part of your mindset. So this fight obviously is going to be on Combat FC 1. It's going to be their inaugural event after, being in this business, under a different name. So it's sort of a rebranding, and
right.
it's going to be on UFC Fight Pass, obviously. So was the platform, it airing on Fight Pass, was that like a big part of the excitement in getting on this card and, obviously sort of headlining the entire card and being a big draw already? Was that part of the decision-making in terms of fighting for them?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely the cherry on top, I would say, because every fight that I've been in since my amateur career, it's been a big fight. I fought for titles. I've sold out casinos. So it's like I'm already used to that big fight energy, that thrill, So, but yeah, it being on Fight Pass, I mean, that's tremendous because now I'm getting global exposure. That's a different ball game, So that's awesome. And shouts out to Combat FC getting that deal signed, and putting that to paper and giving myself the opportunity to showcase my skills. So most definitely, it's definitely the cherry on top. it's definitely, what we fighters are looking for. We're looking for that exposure.
Yeah, that to me that was the big thing. So I was like, he's already a draw, and he's already obviously a draw in the region and locally, but this opportunity to get out there globally and get the right eyes on you internationally and stuff like that is obviously huge. So if everything goes to plan on Friday night, what does the rest of your year look like?
Yeah, I take it a fight at a time. I take it a fight at a time. Like I just mentioned, I do this every single day. Like even this fight week, it doesn't even feel like a fight week for me. It feels like just another week for me, just prepping to get in there. So I take it a fight at a time. I'll be totally honest with you. Fighting these caliber fighters, your focus got to be totally on them. Like my first couple fights, I made that mistake. That's why my fights were booked like that, because I'm thinking, I'm gonna run through these guys. And then what happens is you're not fully invested into that one guy. So right now I'm really just zoning in on Friday night. I'll be like real transparent with you. I'm zoning in on Friday night. I'm getting my mind ready. My body's ready to go. I'm getting my mind ready to do what it needs to do to take this guy out. I'm not looking for a damn decision in there. I'm not looking for any of that shit. I'm in there to finish him. I'm in there to 100% take his head off. That's what I'm focused on right now. I really could give shit what happens afterwards, what I'm doing for the rest of the year. It doesn't matter. It does not matter whatsoever. What matters to me like right now is really stomping this guy out.
You keep leading us into the great next questions that we have on this paper. It's like what we have on this paper. So after that being said,
Right.
Can we get a fight prediction? What's your prediction for the fight? How does Friday go in your mind?
I'm looking for the knockout, 100%, 1,000%. I'm in there to finish. I move forward. I'm aggressive. My output is insane. I'm looking to finish. I'm not interested in anything else. I could give a shit about what the goddamn judges are gonna do. Anytime you leave it in their hands, it's a loss. So I'm in there to finish. So
I love that
that's what you
mindset.
guys can expect Friday.
I think that's all the questions we got, Teddy.
I got one more. So your body's ready.
Right.
You're getting your mind ready. You've been an athlete forever. What outside of athletics do you do to keep your mind ready? To get your, sort of like your safe space, your thing to sort of calm you down. Is there anything outside of athletics that you're passionate about?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, there's many things that I'm into, and outside of fighting and training and things of that nature. Fishing. I mean, you name it. I really enjoy running. Running is like my zen time. I mean, I obviously, I work full time as well. I'm a finance manager at a dealership, so that's kind of like my focus too, and dealing with people every single day.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm used to it. I've been doing it like all my life, so
Yeah.
I'm used to it. So it's kind of like my space, and but fighting is really where I can express myself. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm so invested in it, because it's just that's where I get to express. I can't in my job, I can't just punch the customer in the face.
No.
As much as we want to sometimes.
Exactly. I might really want to, but I can't do it. It's like, damn. So when I go to the gym now, we get some sparring days in. It's like, all right, I got to break this guy today. he's Mr. Camp today, and I'm gonna break him.
I love it.
Any shout outs or anything you want to give before we end this up? Do you have a TikTok as well? I know you got an Instagram. You got a TikTok?
No, I don't have a TikTok, but I will be getting one shortly, because I'm lacking on that part there.
We'll have a conversation this weekend. We'll talk Thursday and Friday. Maybe we can give you some assistance on that.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, any shout outs to end off the video?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I want to first and foremost thank Combat FC for the opportunity, because these are limited slots, limited fights opportunities you're getting, right? And appreciate them for seeing the talent and match me up with a good opposition. I want to thank all my training partners, Underground MMA, Grizzly Wrestling, my striking coaches and my striking gym, Whitley's Boxing. I want to first and foremost also thank all my supporters that come in all my fights. I'm actually renting out a van, a 17-passenger van, driving them down there. So we're gonna pack the house. We're gonna pack the house that night, and that's what happens every night when I show up. So, and that's pretty much it. And I want to obviously thank you guys as well for interviewing me. It was a pleasure.
Oh, appreciate it. We really thank you for taking your time, and I look so forward to seeing you in action Friday night. It's going to be a fun night. I really look forward to you. Your fight and Rico's fight have my mind absolutely, like, I can't wait for them. I got to watch Rico work out. I've seen some of your videos. Teddy showed me a little bit about you. I keep hearing all about you, and then after this interview, I'm like, I cannot wait to watch this kid fight.
Let's do it.
All right, my man.
Disappointed, man.
I appreciate your time. I will see you Thursday for weigh-ins. Obviously, you're gonna be a little hungry. I got some pasta being made. I went to culinary school. I used to be in some restaurants and stuff. So making everybody some pasta for after weigh-in, so you guys are nice and happy to talk to me.
That's what I'm talking about.
See you Thursday, my man. Talk to you soon.
Absolutely, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Hey everybody, Tony from Fresh Pulls here. Join me and the Fresh Fam on Friday, June 17th at the Shriners Auditorium in Wilmington, Mass for Combat FC1, a full fight card with some of the best talent in the MMA industry. Click the link tree in our bio to purchase tickets right now. Combat FC